girl. Come here, Nicole. Come over and see this horse. And you gotta talk to him because if you run on him too quick, he'll buck up. Hey, hello, Mr. Horse.
Hello.
That's Chubby. That's Chubby.
What is this thing?
Oh, that's what nobody is sure what that is. We got that. It come from a blacksmith shop, but nobody has ever, the closest thing we come to, they think maybe they put the horse's foot in there and then to measure for the shoe, for making them a shoe. But we're not, nobody's positive.
This is 1108.
Just what that is. But this thing here was for turning for buggy spokes. You put that on the end of the spoke and it's for fitting the buggy. Hello! Oh, Sheeper, now we got a real expert on the job here. How you doing?
Oh, signing off for visiting today. I'd like to see how many people show up.
That's what I like to hear. You on television today?
Might go to Chicago. You gotta come and check out have you seen our horse? You've been here since you had the horse?
Right.
I saw the horse. Yeah.
Well, Danny, for the sake of the film, tell us a little bit about how this place got started.
Go for it.
Oh, wow, Charlie Burt bought this and kept it 50 years from the original spot where they shot the horses in the center of town.
Yeah, right at
where
the
the parking lot
lot, wasn't it?
And they rolled it down the hill and gave it to Charlie, or sold it to him. And he kept it there as the blacksmith shop for his farm for pretty near 40 years. And then when he passed away, he gave it to the town if the town would move it. And then his daughter donated the land to move it on. And 8 or 10 people got together and moved it and reestablished it and got it to what it is today. But this was a going blacksmith shop shoeing horses from 1844 on.
So then people from all over town, when it was made a museum,
So then when
started
they see what we were doing, everybody in town that had something, they donated till we had to build another addition to hold the donations, and then another addition, and then we finally built the barn with all the tools in it that it took to run a small farm back in the 1800s. So that's what we got here today.
Okay, so where should we go here?
You remember one of those? Maybe you never made one. I used to make them when I was a kid.
I mean the
Had a
slide?
Huh?
Slide?
This one here, barrel stave.
Oh,
You're going through the blacksmith shop, Jess?
They don't even make that kind of barrel that you can get anymore.
But I don't know where this shovel is, do you? This tag is sitting in the blacksmith tools. And it was stated, so I just rewrote it. But I don't know where the onion shovel is.
Shovel.
That's what I thought that was, but it's got a different tag on it. And it's
but
called ash.
There's another one somewhere that
I thought it was hanging over here at one point.
it might.
looks like Aunt Minnie's barn.
Possible.
Looks like Aunt Minnie's barn.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Look at this.
Oh,
Look at
yeah.
these things for getting into the hay mows. That's a hay cutter when they get bit, when it gets matted down. And here's one. Look at this.
Alright, that's Mr.
Blade here. That would be used for cutting. I don't know as it says.
It doesn't have to be pumped. Did you prime it? No, you just let the handle up.
stuff in here, Brian, is, that all has to do with getting ice, gathering ice. This is an ice saw here,
Oh, yeah.
all hand operation.
That says 65-inch blade. Blade's not there. I have no idea what it was.
Here's your antique, carpenter's tools.
Is that blade up there?
None of those that I had, but when we cleaned out how many barns,
65-inch long
or
blade.
how many gave me Grandpa's
Must have been,
tool chest,
one of those
which was
lower
as big as
Yeah.
a table.
One of them.
And that was
Is it one
full
of them without a
of
tag?
all wooden tools, hand tools.
65 inches long.
No, they've been cut off.
Oh.
They've been cut off. Originally
Oh, it was maybe?
was 65.
Okay, well maybe that was hanging
Yeah,
there.
that could be.
I don't know. Okay, well, we're getting there. Anything without a number, I'm giving one to.
Oh, yeah. Now, when I was a boy working on the farm, 50 cents, $1 a day, when it come time to mow the hay, I had to turn this grindstone to sharpen the blade. And boy, your arm would be so tired because it was a 6-foot blade.
Yeah.
And you had to sharpen them, you know. And these are all the tools that it took the blacksmith to shoot the horses with. Paring knife, toenail clippers. This here was given by Dave LaValle. His father was a blacksmith. And this is the forge that he used to use when he did the blacksmithing. You pull up and down on that handle and that pumps the air into the coal to get the shoes hot. This here is one of the largest ox yoke things I've ever seen.
Pretty wide.
Yeah. Then given by Harold Gardner. Man, that was a big ox to fill that up. This here's a typical picture that you would see in a blacksmith shop. The little boy brought his little scooter in to get it fixed.
They brought everything to the blacksmith
Yeah.
shop. Hey, there's a toboggan under there, Brian, and made different than the kind you used to use down in back of the house.
Oh, yeah.
You see, it's got two ski blades on the side.
Yeah. Now, Dan,
This is the original town hearse that they used in the winter to take the bodies to the cemetery.
Unusual setup on the hookup too, Brian. You don't see that. I never saw one before this one.
You
Where
saw
the-
the
it's
horse
an
always
offset.
walked in the path of the sled. You have to walk in the deep snow. And these lights up here are the original town hearse, the wagon hearse that the town had. But somehow the wagon got dismantled, and the only thing we've got is these wheels. Now here's an old light bulb. Watch this. See the flowers light up? We leave that off so we don't burn that out. Yeah. So out here is we've got a lot of pictures here from when the big flood was up in Williamsburg.
Oh, yeah.
When I come down through and this is the original old school in the center school. And this is the mill where Loud's house is now.
Yeah, that's the yellow house next to the brook.
Yeah?
Well, that was an overshot wheel.
Yeah, no, water come over.
And is that an actual painting of the
Yeah.
old?
That's the original,
Original
when it was
Blacksmith.
up where the parking lot.
Oh, that's a photo of it, yeah.
There's a photo. And Priscilla Seraphin painted that from the photo. Now, this chair is hand carved. And Mrs. John Lyman's mother, that was, I think that was a wedding present. John Lyman. His mother got that when she was...
What is that, cherry? Looks like cherry.
It looks like cherry.
Those fans then
And-
might be interested in the
Oh,
fan
yeah,
collection.
we've got a collection of 150 real unique fans that was found up in the top of the library when they were putting the addition on. And so, a lot of them are made of ivy, which now is pretty scarce. And this here is the original logbook that the blacksmith kept his, everything he did every day for who and how much. And it starts off at 1845 is when the book starts. And it tells in here where he shot a team of horses for 60 cents. Now it costs $125 to have a saddle horse shot. And this is a fan that we got. It was made in France. And you pull one side, and it comes out, and you pull it back.
That's quite unique.
Yeah, that's a unique thing, and that was made in France.
That cabinet over there, Brian, that's full of fans.
Yeah.
They can interchange them in here all.
Sid Cole fixed this up so we can interchange and have different showings of all the different fans that we got. Now this bag here was my mother's sewing bag. Instead of keeping them in a jar or something every time you want a button height, you dump them out. This is a button bag. You just pull it up, then you want to find a button, you open it up, and there's the button.
Easy to get at too, and
Yeah.
big.
So this
That's a real tomahawk over there.
this collection of fans is, we got 150 fans, and they're real. A guy was here that knew about them, and he says we got one of the rarest fans there is around, and valuable because it's been signed by some famous person.
Yeah. Sometimes they have some beauties.
Why don't you pick up that tomahawk, Papa? Let's get you in there.
Get that. You're the Indian in the family.
Oh, this tomahawk was donated by Esther Hallway. And this canoe was donated by Esther Hallway. That's something he made when he was in Boy Scouts. And these are all the uniforms of the baseball players. West Hampton used to have a team of baseball players. Somebody's been changing things. Oh, we got a new case. We just got a new case here, and they're beginning to straighten it out and putting some of the old paraphernalia. Look at the little baby shoes.
Yeah, yeah. Hard to believe your feet are ever that small. That's an interesting thing over there hanging up on the wall.
This was a special thing to keep doilies in and keep them flat.
Tell them that's is that the hair thing?
This is, all made with human hair.
Took them a long rifle.
This room, all the lumber was donated by Clarence Delisle. He used to be a builder in town. When he died, his wife gave the lumber, and so we put this building up in memory of Clarence Delisle. This is an organ that was in this church up here before the big organ ever got put in. This is the original little organ that was played in the West Hampton church.
Oh, there's the picture of the mountain house is over there.
Yeah, here's a picture of the mountain house, and we got a plate here that was given by Walter Burho of the, it's a Mount Tom plate.
That postcard that I have recently found in the collection of stuff I got at the house is similar to that one right there. Similar to this.
Now here's a new gift that we just got. That's the original Mount Tom house, and look at the frame, a chain frame.
You don't see, I don't
No,
think I ever saw
I've
it.
never saw one. I've never seen one.
Until you see one picture, and everybody's eyes are different.
I see that.
Now,
Where does
Jess,
it say one- Where's one picture? Right there?
how come we ain't got marks? We gave that.
I gave it with just a note of where these things came from. It wasn't my job to do, so I don't know why it isn't. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Jesse.
I see you got that thing on me.
We're trying to get her involved.
I can't get near you?
That was a trick.
No, go. Both of them.
It's good to see you.
See you too. I figured we get a little
Get him
a
into
little
the room.
before, yeah.
Down on the corner, across from the campground. They think there was a mill. There's another one there. And they think they were made in West Hampton. Now this represents all the old sawmill equipment that used to be years ago. And that blade in the corner is from an up and down sawmill. When before the circular saws, they had the up and down sawmills.
You find one interesting thing, Brian, is that I don't know that you said you operated one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
size of that chainsaw.
Two-man
Takes two men.
chainsaw.
Oh, yeah.
When they first come out, I was working in the woods and ran one of them. And man, you go home at night pretty tired.
Go home minus limbs if you're not careful too.
And this is all the shoe department. Years ago, every farm, nobody could afford to buy shoes. So everybody had to patch their shoes and make them. Years ago, they used to make their own shoes and keep them patched. And this is some of the equipment that it took to do it. Then we got a whale of a collection of old keys and old locks.
Be interested in that scale.
Now this scale was up in the town hall. Every town had a scale because that's for gasoline, oil, oats, and if you were buying or selling stuff, you'd have to bring your measurement in and have it checked with the town measurements and have it sealed once a year to make sure you were getting a quart of oats or whatever it was. And we're the only ones that we know of that got an original case and all the original weights. Other towns have got one similar, but they're missing. But we've got a complete set of all the weights. So we're real lucky. And the same company that made these scales made fire engines and big clocks. And you put, like if you had a pound of butter here, you put a pound weight here, then you lift this up. And if it was perfect, this needle would touch this needle. And you know that the weight was perfect.
And there's the cabinet is all handmade.
Yeah, the cabinet is all, we were lucky to ever get anything like this.
Was that from West Hampton?
Yeah, come out of the town hall.
Where
Now-
did the stenciling come from?
Oh, this, the oldest house in West Hampton is the Charles Norris farm. And they used to plaster, and then they'd have an artist come in and draw pictures of whatever kind of animals you wanted on the plaster.
The same artist did things that Bovia too.
Oh, really?
Yeah?
Do you know
Itinerant
what's in it?
artist who traveled around.
Do you know who?
I don't remember the name.
Oh, that's the house.
That's the horsehair plaster. We should have that on a card
You
here.
know, there was an article in the paper with picture of this stenciling before it was destroyed, and it may have that information on it.
The other thing is, this big tree out front, what year was that planted? 1840.
Yeah.
We should have that marked down.
I think it is.
It was planted in memory of somebody.
I think I have it in my notebook.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's one of the Hales.
Yeah, one of the Hales.
Hale or
Yeah.
whatever. One of those.
Now, this here is for making poached eggs. You put this over, put the 3 eggs in here, put it over the hot water, and when it's done,
I noticed this one's beautiful.
3 more.
Here? Is that design? Someone started to
Um,
put it together.
All the small farms had a milk separator, and they could separate their cream from the milk because a lot of times you couldn't sell all the milk you made, so you would separate it and feed the skim milk to the pigs, and so there was a market for the cream.
How long?
Within 5 years. The big window is in that first room. It's a big window they took out, and we saved the.
Years ago, the milk peddler would come to your house every day with that milk, and you'd leave a note in your milk box, 1 pint or 2 quarts of milk, or whatever you wanted, and he'd drop off.
That's the problem.
Give you a pretty good idea of how much cream you'd get out of it. That was mostly solid cream built down here, just from the one bottle, wasn't it, Dan?
Yeah. And this here would be to put the milk in. There's some bottles in there.
There's a bar down there too.
Country milk.
If you need a bath, that's your tub.
Yeah, that's the bathtub. You sit here and put the soap there. Then when you're done, you lift the handle up, and drain the water out.
No. These are all historical.
Anything over 25 years is antique, so.
There you are.
This here, they had a pipe going here up to a tank upstairs. And when you wanted the kids to work, put them pumping the water in the tank upstairs so it'd come by gravity.
More modern. But I guess I thought that Daddy, I
Pretty
don't know,
solid
went
pump.
down, that Esther called him and told him they were gonna wreck it, and so that they went down and saved it.
A lot of stuff down there in the
No,
back.
you gotta be sure to come down the barn now.
Mr. Parsons, the historian of.
Somebody went to a lot of work
Now,
to make a sink out of that
this here-
stone, all hand carved, so.
There was a pad on here, you'd fill this full of wax, And that's how they wax the floor. You give that a shot of wax. And then you rub it in.
I still question that because they wouldn't have even had waxed floors back when something was as ancient looking as this.
So I need another theory.
It
You gotta
says
come up with something on it.
the Saxon,
Saxonia. U.S. Lighting Company, Springfield, Mass. Lighting Company, window washers.
floor waxer.
Yeah, well,
Or what?
or what? Or what?
It makes a good story.
Sorry I lost him.
Just loaded with them.
I'm sorry I lost him. I goof him up all the time, don't I?
This
Just
sink,
throw a monkey wrench in the works, that's all.
this sink come from the old Norris farm, and this one here come from Mr. Bass's house up on Northwest Road.
Which used to be the Nile house.
It used to be the Nile farm. It was a little farm. And this here is a toaster for toasting toast in a fireplace. You know, you gotta remember one time that there was no stoves even. The house had nothing but fireplaces. So when you wanted to toast some bread, you put 2 slices in there and hold it in front of the,
And when you wanted to toast the other side, you just flip the
turn it around.
Yeah.
Around. Oh, here it is, for cooking steak. You put that in the fireplace, cooking the steak, and the juice would run down in here, and then there's a spout to pour they saved all the grease and fat to make soap. Ah, we got on the bar. We got all these. We got everything here to make the stairs. Oh, there it is. There's the plank up there. We got to make a new set of stairs the first chance we get.
I don't know if you ever saw the type of construction they have in this, but Dan set this thing up with post construction that goes down into the ground. Just posts, that's all.
That's how they used to build the old barns. And that shape of that was like the old wagon sheds, they call them.
Had to be screened and closed in because the birds would get in.
Now, this stone is a special stone. They used to put a barrel here with no bottom in it. And they put all their ashes in there, and then as the rain and dampness saturated, the lye would come out of the ashes and they'd catch it, and that's what they made soap with. Ticket there. Now, this here was just given us, we gotta set it up. It's given by Mr. DeRoyne, and it's a grain grinder for grinding up grain. You know, a small farm, they put the grain on the floor and beat it with a stick whip. And then they would take the grain out of it and put it through a grinder for cereal.
Remember Arthur's barn? It's one of those hay lifters, and there's another one up there.
Yep.
This here was for making spokes for the buggies and wagons. Hand-operated bandsaw. These are the spokes they used to cut out for the wagons. This here, that was a shaft, we think, for an old water wheel, But they drilled it out and put a hole in the top, and on 4th of July, they used to pack it up, bring it up to the center of town, and blow it off on the 4th of July.
Cannon, like a cannon.
Yeah.
You never blow that apart. Oh, gee.
This here's a potato planter. Oh, there's something here. Oh, we gotta get this up.
What's that, a water pipe?
A water pipe. That's an old water pipe. Before there was iron pipe, they piped the water down off the hill through a wooden pipe. And this was found down in Charlie Burke's barn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Dan, that they used to have this same thing up on what they call Bell Pond in Worcester.
Yeah.
They had a pond up on top of the hill, and then they had wood to begin with. Later on, they went to, I think, the lead.
Now, this machine here was for cutting ice. Hook a horse on there, and each tooth is a little longer than the other. And they would slice the ice with it. These look like a Tommy Hawk, but these are for cutting tobacco. A tobacco cutter. This here's a little one-man corn planter. And this sleigh here in the winter, they used to take the whole family to church. And then on Monday, take 2 seats out, go to town and get their groceries and stuff like you would with a pickup truck. There's an axle up there that is all wood, no steel. They used to just, with a wood shave them axles, put the wheels on and put a wooden pin on the end to hold the wheel up. This tractor was one of the first tractors to come into West Hampton. It's a 1923, I think. 1932. John Deere. Farmo. Not a John Deere, Farmo. Man, you ride that all day over the stones. And
Oh, boy. You recognize that thing over in the corner?
that's where they used to dig cellar holes.
They started the biggest hole out and then up in
Yeah, yeah.
originally that was down in Westboro.
Used to hook that to the back of a 29 Ford.
Yeah, well, that's a murderous thing to use. So
Yeah.
if you hit if you're going along and all of a sudden you hit a stump or something, it'll throw you.
What?
It'll throw you hard.
This here is an old roller. Before there were snow plows, they used to roll the snow so the horses could go with their sleds. And then later on, after they got snow plows, the farmer used to roll his land after they plowed it, harrowed it. They would roll it, seed it, and roll it. But originally, it was to roll snow.
Didn't Lyman use this at one time?
Yeah, my father-in-law, Mr. Stone, used to have that. This here's a hay tedder. When they cut the hay, you run over it with this, it would throw it up in the air and get the air under it so the hay would dry.
Thomas Noble was
This piece of mechanism here, if you had a heifer or a calf that got out of the fence, you know, they stick their head in the fence, you would put that on him, and then he couldn't get through the fence. That's what they call a cowpoke. Cowpoke.
Yeah, I know.
This here is for cradling rye, wheat, and other grains. You make one swing, and dump it. And then a guy would come behind you, take a couple spears, tie it up. And then you'd bundle it up and put it through a thrashing machine. To get the oats or rye or
That's
whatever.
an interesting tripod you got here too.
Yeah. This tripod is for stooking corn. You cut the corn and you stook it and make a big stook, tie it up. Then you pull that stick out, pull the horse out, up to the next bunch of corn. A corn stooker. And after the corn dried, you would reach in and get all the ears off it and shuck them and run it through a corn machine to take the kernels off the corn.
That's quite a job, Brian. You remember those?
Oh yeah, there's the old, probably about 8 people could get on that ripper. They call them ripper. And go down a steep hill. The worst part about that was you'd have to pull it back up.
Yeah. It's very dangerous thing because the only way you could steer it was with that rope.
This here was for cutting the hay down. Oh man, these were tough things to ride all day. And this year, most everybody had a small orchard. Every farm had a small orchard and used to have to spray the apples, peaches, and plums. This here's a weeder. After you planted the corn, you'd have to run over with a weeder, otherwise the weed would get ahead of the corn, and you couldn't keep up with it. This here is one of the oldest hay rakes, a wooden wheel hay rake. Jess' grandfather bought that brand new. Probably cost about $35. Now, all these tools, see all them wrenches? Them are all old farm wrenches that when you used to buy a cultivator or plow, they would have a wrench fastened onto the handle in case any of the bolts got loose.
And then there was still all these farm things, and there was just as much more room on this piece of property. And Dan
And this here is a potato cutter. You would get a bag of potato, put a bushel basket down there, and you would put 3 potatoes in here, push on that, and it would slice the potatoes, make 4 pieces out of one, so you could plant them.
I've used an electric one of those.
Yeah.
All right.
This here is for making cider. You put your apples in here, and it would come out mush, and then you put the mush in the squeezer, squeeze the juice. Cider press. So over the years, we've established quite a thing. Now one fellow called us, he was cleaning out his garage. He used to work at a place that was going from horse-drawn equipment to tractors, and he saved them. That's a brand new set of handles for this weeder, and then the other one is a brand new pair of calves for the hay rake. And they're still in good condition, and they're probably about 60 years old. Because that's when they went into selling tractors.
I think Eric Sloan actually has a drawing, you're familiar with Eric Sloan's book, of that kind of a rolling. Oh, I think he does.
And then the wooden hay rake is right, yeah, that's the rake. That was, on the other side of my family, that was the Graves farm in West Hampton, and that would have been my grandfather had that. And it was still in the barn after 3 or 4 different people had bought that farm, and they finally donated it. But it was from my grandfather, and I can remember him on it.
Now this plow, if it was heavy turf you were plowing, you'd have to hook the horse over this way in order for the turf to, you hook it this way, that plow would want to come out of the furrow. Heavy turf, you put it over here and then the plow would aim in so you could get a full stroke. It's,
Which plow is it that Grandpa Snow brought from Chicopee? That one-sided wooden thing? We used to have it in the blacksmith, in where the blacksmith things are. But I don't know where it is anymore.
oh, this one here. Yeah, this one here. A.L. Snow, 1882. It was made in Chicopee. This plow was made in Chicopee, and when he moved from Chicopee, he must have had a small farm in Chicopee.
Yeah.
And then when he moved to West Hampton, he put this in the buggy and brought it up here, and boy, that's plowed a lot of ground. There was a factory that made all kind of plows and harrows from Chicopee. This is a side hill plow. When you get down the end of one place, you trip this and flop that over, and then you could come back. Go back and forth. That's what they call a side hill. Oh, that's a ripper. In the winter, you get 6 or 8 people on there and go down a steep hill.
Like a toboggan type thing.
Yeah.
They had one up in,
This here is the original water pipe.
the barn up in Barry, you know, where we used to go.
Oh,
They had one just about that length, but it was all painted up and sharp.
oh, I bet they went like hell down there.
Oh, they're dangerous things. See that rope?
Feeding hills.
The only way you could steer them, the guy in the front control of 6 lives.
And this house is, and literally,
That's quite
people used to live in
I haven't seen that
1960.
before.
No.
Somebody
And
got
what you would consider the heating
that
room.
reason.
And for insulation, they put a cardboard. And when this person who bought it was John Rosenberg that owns it now. And he tore it all out. All that was in there was soap. The house has no plumbing, there's an L off the back that he puts in plumbing in, but the main part of the house is dated 1715. It sits exactly like
All
it's
wainscoting,
1715.
almost all original hardware.
Plaster, everything.
It's a gem.
Well, you're gonna buy it? I
We
mean,
hope
we'll
to
try
buy
it
it,
to live in?
or our historical association, as a museum.
Plus they have 2 lots, you know, the lot the house sits on, and another lot, where it's still got gardens, but still coming up, and it would be beautiful. You know, we just don't know if we're gonna make it, you know, we're talking about big money, you know, to buy it. How do you come across this?
Somebody, as soon as you start saying, these are things we wanna do, somebody will donate some money. Cause you're down in that area where there are some.
You're down in the
people.
area. If you get a little publicity, it all depends on the publicity you
Gee,
get.
our Cummington, which is another hill
Yeah.
town right here,
Yeah.
had, the Steel Miniature Museum. I don't know if you're familiar, but it was on Route 9. And it was this lady had the museum and everything was miniature in it. And when she died, she donated it all to it, plus $300,000.
Wow.
And they're doing everything they wanna do up there.
So, since people
Oh,
found out
does it
about
make you
that,
feel
they
awful?
need one for
When you try to do something with no money.
donation for, and in the barn they had that,
Yeah.
drop that down on the hay. But you come in the barn with a wagon, you know, the plank would jump up and down. And so we tried to,
What machine was it that you got out of that Parsons barn and the barn fell down the next day?
that weeder. Yeah, we just got that
The barn
weeder.
fell down the next day?
And me and Alfred
What's been holding up the barn?
went down and got it, and the next day, we had a little wind before a thunderstorm, and we went by the next day, and there was the barn gone. Flatter than a not paying.
And that's what's happening to old things.
Oh,
You're
I
not getting a chance to get 'em.
know, I know. I feel sorry for the children born nowadays, because there's some of these old barns that we've enjoyed looking at, traveling along the countryside are no longer gonna be there.
So these two mills here,
We enjoyed it.
were, you know, in production, you would bring the ears of corn, put it through there, then the guy would put them through here and mill it into grain. That was given by Freeman Scott, and he made grain, he run them.
He juked it
Yeah.
actually.
But that's a small version, if you had just a small little, like a little few cows or something, this is the size you would have. But this here was for business purpose,
Well, yeah, you can almost tell
Yeah.
by the belt drive.
yeah. But,
That saw is very interesting too, Brian. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Dan, tell them about it.
this saw is a one-man, you can, it's all told on here, how you can cut a tree down or set it up to cut wood off, one man pulling it. And, it dogs right onto the log. We used it to cut some wood here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy used to sit here and fill this full of potato seed, and then he'd make sure there was one in every cup. Whoa, look at that. The old tractors. They had Sears Roebucks come out with a rig you could make a Model T into a tractor. A small gear into the big ones, you know, you could buy accessories.
That's the first time I've seen that tube.
Yeah, well, I got that down to Charlie Parker's farm. And now we gotta put a ticket on that. See, his father was the water commissioner in town before there was iron pipe. So most likely, they ran water from that same reservoir
Maybe
down
they
that
did.
hill
Maybe that's
in a
what they
water
put in
pi-
first.
in a water pipe
Yeah.
before they added people on and had to go to metal pipe. I'll bet you it was.
Maybe there's some of that still on the piece up there.
Could
where
well
they-
be.
You know, when you stop to consider it, that thing is 12 feet long, and look at it, they had to bore all the way through that.
Oh, yeah.
That's quite a boring job on a piece of wood.
Yeah. We went to an antique show where they showed boring,
Oh, really?
how they bored them.
What kind of wood is it?
I bet it's chestnut.
Most likely chestnut. Otherwise, it would have been deteriorated long before now. The bugs and stuff would have got it. Chestnut was light and durable, and it didn't rot.
Huh.
Last for years. Now this hole here must have been for a takeoff to the house,
That's what I figured, yeah.
the main line. Yeah, we gotta get that marked. Who gave it and where it was from. Wow, hi, Joe. That's what.
Almost time to shut down, isn't it? 4 o'clock? Almost. Yeah, there's a log that they will usually have one man saw on.
Oh, yeah, this wooden pipe here, first chance you get, you gotta mark that.
What wooden
A card.
Sorry.
black walnut trees around.
Which one is the black walnut?
That's one, that biggest tree up there is a black walnut.
Oh, is that black
They
walnut?
say that tree is worth a small fortune. See, they make furniture out of black walnut, and it's getting harder to come by all the time. You see, there's one here. I think that's another one up there. Yeah.
Is that the one that was planted in 1840?
Yeah,
sometime?
yeah. It's like that damn thing's got a base on it like this.
Wow.
It's all grown up around it, but I bet that thing is at least 5 feet through at the base.
I'll get a picture of it when we get out closer.
Walnut in. Most of the trees that are nearby are black walnut.
Water tiles over
Big ones.
here.
Big trees.
Oh, where'd they go? Oh, there they are.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Tracy came down and told me that he dug those up from East Hampton Road. So I made a ticket, but I put it in the book because obviously
Yeah.
there's no way to attach it
No.
down here. So we have a record at least where they came from East Hampton Road.
Yeah, a lot of history in that book. It's funny that they kept a log book back then, you know. You would wonder what, didn't need it for income tax purpose or anything. We got a lot of this stuff is going to be past history, you know.
That's quite an album.
Yeah, all these pictures of, see now this one here is a school teacher. Now, that's Dick Tracy's daughter. Ann Tracy. Now she's
the one that teaches in
Yeah.
Germany.
But all these books and we got lots of stuff in this room here stored in them safe boxes, you know, that are special for storing stuff.
Yeah. I get the sign too. The open sign.
Oh.